Hi, everyone. We're going to get started soon. So just one moment. Thank you all for coming. Hi, everyone. I'm in a less echoey place now. So thank you all for coming. Welcome. We're here today to remember Mona Mohseni, a dear friend and to all, and sister and daughter and aunt. If you'd like to show your video, that would be great, but no pressure. We're going to start today with Quran recitation, as well as a poem by Rumi, and we're also going to show a short video, and then we'll open up the floor for anyone to say a few words. So we'll begin very shortly. Thank you all for coming.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. Praise be to God, Lord of the universe, most gracious, the most merciful. Master of the day of judgment, we worship you only. We ask you for help only. Guide us, O Lord, in the right path, the path of those whom you blessed, not those who deserve wrath, nor destroyers. This is the part of prayer, daily prayer time of every Muslim around the world. They repeat this 5 times every day. I would like to share this wonderful advice from Mawlavi, one of the Iranian greatest poets of 12th century, or sorry, 13th century. In generosity and helping others be like rivers. In compassion and grace be like sun. In conceding others' fault be like night. In anger and fury be like death. In modesty and humility be like earth. In tolerance be like a sea. Either exist as you are or be as you look. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that poem. I'd like to just open the floor now if anyone would like to share a memory or say a few loving words. It can be a story or anything about Mona and her life and your relationship. Thank you.
Thanks, Donna. I can go. I wrote a few words down. I hand wrote it, so it may take me a minute to get through it because my handwriting is messy. But hi, everyone. I'm Roya. I've known Mona for a very long time, since we were babies. We first met when we were 5 or 6 years old at the friend of our family, Ladan Jun and Wali Jun's house. Mona was already the life of the party, coming up for ideas for games we should play, things to do. She always did that. She invented a game called Sneakies, And the goal was to sneak away food from the party and save it to eat later. And Mona was always someone who loved to feed everyone around her and make sure no one was hungry. And she did that even before she was old enough to cook herself. In hindsight, that game was so innocent, but Mona made it seem like the most exciting, thrilling adventure in the world. And that was one of the, that was one of the most special, magical, and enduring traits about Mona. She could take anything, any object, any activity, any mix of ingredients or leftovers in the fridge and turn it into something special, something hilarious, and something so much more than its parts. Mona was extraordinary. She was good at anything and everything she did. She was the best student in our Farsi school. She didn't even need to try to be good. Donna and I had no chance at keeping up with Mona. Mona and I shared a love for cooking and a love for music, a lot of the same artists and bands, and that's what we'd talk about very often. We were both working on cookbooks and would talk to each other about our meals, and the last thing we talked about was our excitement for tomato season, just back in September. I think in Mona's memory, one thing we can all benefit from and learn from was her excitement and passion for life, her joy and love for the everyday things, whether it was a tomato or an eggplant or rice with soy sauce on it and scallions. She could turn anything into the funniest joke. She could turn anything into the most delicious, perfect, best meal you've ever had. And she fiercely loved the people around her. Mona was magic, and I will miss her dearly, and I will do my best to make sure that her memory lives on through me and through so many others. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Roya June. Would anyone else like to say a few words?
I can go. Hi, everyone. I didn't prepare anything, but I just wanted to jump on here and share some stories about Mona and I's friendship, and just memories that I cherish so much and have been coming up so much the past 40 days, obviously. But Mona and I have known each other since I think we were about 12 years old, and in middle school, even today and always, she's one of the funniest people I've ever met. She could turn anything into the most hilarious. Just making inside jokes with Mona was just one of my favorite things in the world, and she could turn something as simple as like the word garlic and to mean like a secret code between us. And I just can't, looking at garlic today, I still think about her and all the simple things. She would find a way to make it so funny and so colorful. And I remember in middle school, at one point, we had every single class together. And by week 2 of being in every class together, we had to be removed from each and every one of them because we would just spend so much time laughing and drawing and doing all sorts of things together. And for that, I'm so grateful. Even today, Mona's sense of humor is one of the greatest gifts that she gave and left behind, because today, when I look around, I can't help but smile thinking about all of the amazing things that she left for me and for everyone that got to encounter her and spend time with her. I've been thinking of her and asking her for signs, and every single time I ask her for a sign, within like 24 hours, it's right there in my face, and just I can't help but smile, and just am so grateful to have been her friend in this lifetime. And I know that there will be multiple other lifetimes where we meet again, and her presence is still so felt, and I love her deeply, and I'm really grateful to have shared all these memories with her. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gabriella. I feel very similarly that even in Mona's absence, she's very present and she's bringing all of us together in many ways. And I felt that a lot in the last 40 days. Would anyone else like to say a few words?
Hello. So, early last year, I had this pretty severe accident. I kind of shut out a lot of people in my life. Mona and I weren't very close back in high school, but I started cooking professionally, and I saw on her social media that she was doing a lot of cooking too. So we sort of bonded over that. But after my accident, I kind of withdrew from the people around me. I wasn't really talking to my friends, but she was very persistent. We would just constantly be talking about things to cook and you know different recipes and of our own cultures and stuff, and we really bonded over that while everybody was locked in during quarantine. And she was really she's very persistent in talking about anything. She's very kind of, she always reached out first, and I think it's very sweet of her, and I do miss that about her. She's very, like, no matter what was happening, she's always just so positive and cheerful. It was um she always found some way to make everything a little bit brighter and happier. I'm always gonna miss that about her.
Thank you so much for sharing that. If anyone else would like to add something, please feel free. I can share also what I wrote about a month and a half ago, just because I think some people didn't hear it when I said it at the funeral. So
Excuse
I
me,
can share it again.
Dana, can you hear me?
Oh.
Yeah, people were muted. I just let them to unmute themselves.
Oh, sure. If somebody's muted and would like to speak, please go ahead.
Or they can raise their hand and I can unmute them.
Okay, I will just read this. So Mona and I met one summer when we were 13, and for 3 months we spent every single day together. When summer came to an end, I begged her to join Farsi school with me on Saturdays so that we could spend more time together. And since we didn't go to the same school, she ended up enrolling in a grade level that was less advanced than her own so that we could be together. She was so generous that when I often hadn't prepared for tests, she would let me cheat off of her. Mona and I cultivated our friendship in those critical and vulnerable teenage years. When people could be mean or cliquey, she was sweet and welcoming to everyone. Every time I would introduce her to a friend, she would quickly connect with them on her own terms. She was so wickedly funny. We shared a variety of weird that complemented each other, and I will miss the way that we laughed together. She was a chef, and she transferred her love of food to everyone she cared about. She didn't just create beautiful and complex dishes from every cuisine in the world. She cared deeply about sharing her recipes and using her food as a channel to gather the people that she loved. Food was how she loved and nourished the people she cared for. She taught me to make Thai food among other dishes and would often come over with something she'd prepared or ingredients so that we could cook together. Her favorite dish above all was Gaime Badam Jun.
That's my favorite.
Our friendship endured over the years as we grew and struggled to figure out our place in the
That's
world.
one of my favorites.
She was incredibly non-judgmental and supportive of her friends. With her, you could be flawed and dynamic, and she would accept you as you are. I so much appreciated her recognition, the freedom to change as a person and to just be. And I hope that she knew that she could with me too. We spent so much precious time together in DC and New York and Berkeley and on a Mohseni family trip to Cozumel when she made me hold a lizard and laughed at me when I screamed hysterically. I'm so grateful for the moments that we shared, and I'm devastated that they've come to an end. I'm sad that we won't be able to go to Iran together like she said she would. Like she said we would, but it meant so much to be able to explore our heritage together as we were growing up. With her, it didn't have to be either or, but we could provide each other the recognition of what it meant to be Iranian American and what it meant to love a place and a culture that we were so far away from. I will always appreciate that we shared this. Mona had an impact on everyone that she met. She carried a special social grace like no other. She cared so much about people, their rights, and their dignity. Her friends and family loved and admire her. And I was just thinking about a story that Hale Jan told my mom about how a homeless person on the corner of her street in DC stopped to tell her how kind she was. And I was just so impressed, but also not surprised, because that was the kind of rare, beautiful individual that Mona was, who always emanated kindness to everyone. Mona and I had a bond that was familial. She and I both knew that even if we didn't talk for 3 months or didn't see each other for a year, we would always be there for one another. I was so impressed by her, and I wish I had told her this more often. I will miss Mona very much, and I'm so grateful to have known her. Thank you. And if anyone else would like to say a few words, please feel free.
I could say something. Hi, I don't know if you could see me. How do I do this? Does everyone see me? I don't know. Hello? Hi. Hi everyone, I'm Veronique. Mona and I were friends since college, and what I mainly want to talk about is the past 40 days have just been very unreal. And you don't realize that saying you don't know what you have until it's gone. Mona was a very big light in my life, and it feels like there's something huge missing. And there'll be days where I'm just like, I remember I was at the dentist and I just started breaking down because all I wanted to do was talk to Mona. And it just felt so weird that I just couldn't text her. Or The Weeknd came out with 2 songs, and immediately I just wanted to send it to her. And I don't know. It's just been very weird, but also I knew like she was just such a great person. And I could still feel her in an odd way. But I just want to say that I love you, Mona, and thank you for everything you've done for me and everyone here. You have so much people that love you, and she will always be with us. And that's all I could say. Sorry.
Thank you, Veronique. And thank you, Catherine, for the words that you put in the chat. Would anyone else like to say a few words?
No.
Do you want to read Catherine's message on the chat? صداش قطع شده. You're muted.
Yes, I can read it. Catherine wrote, I was Mona's roommate in DC between March 2020 and June 2021. A short moment, but filled of beautiful and funny memories with the beautiful and kind human being she was. Mona was such a big bundle of happiness, joy, and generosity. I just want to write how she loved every single one of her friends and family members, and how she always expressed so much joy, so much pride and love for every single one of you. I saw her opening letters and gifts and were sending her, and she was always so happy and touched by all the little attentions you had for her. I witnessed that as her roommate. It was precious, and I thought I should let you all know how much she loved you and shared with everyone around her, sending everyone courage and love. Thank you for that.
یکی گذاشته؟ تو گذاشتی؟
I can say something. I'm Lily Maroney, and I did not prepare anything because everything that I tried to write down or plan, there was just too much and I couldn't handle it. But I'm here now and I just want to just express the love that I had for her, and more than that, talk about what an incredible person she was. I'm sorry, the feedback is so crazy. She just cared about everybody that mattered. She was the one that made my COVID vaccine appointment, actually. And one of the reasons why I am having so much trouble talking is because I get very nervous. Mona was the one that always ordered my meals at restaurants. I know she was like that with Gabriella too, who spoke beautiful words earlier. She just had so much love, and I'm trying to stay positive, but it's really not fair that she can't actively give this to us anymore. But I do feel her everywhere, all the time. And like Gabriella said, we both are seeing signs all the time. And Mona's favorite song of all time was The Sign by Ace of Base. And that has been my most played on Spotify for the last 40 days. I can't speak anymore because it more than it hurts, I just am a terrible public speaker. And Mona knew that. And she would love watching me do this right now.
Thank you, Lily.
And also I want to say how grateful I am to all the people that are here in the chat and here at this wonderful house full of love. Because you guys have helped me get through this time, and I think you'll continue to.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bismillah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mohseni. I am Myra Mana uncle. I want to thank you, everybody, for participating today. Few words about Mana. I met her when she was 2, and then I met her after 30 years, after 28 years in Fort Myers. When she came to us, we wanted to invite her to our house for a couple of days, but we find out we are dealing with an individual that she's full of love and compassion, and my family fell in love with her. For every day that she made its reservation to go back to Washington, we have a hard time. We wind up changing her tickets 11 times, 11 times, because we find out we are around somebody that gives us love and affection. My family loves her. We didn't know how to insist to keep her. She was very generous with her love and affection toward others. She had an interest in people. She loved my kids. I have 3 younger kids. She was their instructor. She was their example of kindness and happiness. She always had a beautiful, beautiful, sweet smile on her face. My wife is Filipino. There is a Filipino group. We introduced them to their friends, and even they didn't know her. They acted that they know her for many years. They all loved her. They all wanted to be around her. They all wanted to share with her because she was very concerned about people. I deeply miss her, and we want to say thank you, Myra. Myra, you you contributed so much toward us. And thank you very much for everybody for participating today. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for your words. I just want to open up the floor for one last time if anyone would like to say anything, share a memory or a story. And if not, then we'll conclude with the slideshow. And thank you all for coming.
Hi everyone. I haven't prepared anything, but I just wanted to quickly say a few words. As someone that probably knew Mona the shortest amount of time, actually, but she still had such an immense impact on me. So my name is Dharna, and I'm the person that Mona was subletting her room from in DC. And one of my first memories of Mona is when she came over to take a tour of the apartment. And, you know, I was still figuring out logistics, and she was so quick in just offering up her parents, you know, space to store my stuff. And I was really taken aback. That's, you know, I was like, wow, like, you know, like her kindness just in the first 5 minutes of meeting her even. And you would think, so I, you know, I'm currently in Nepal, so I came here and she stayed on in the room, and you'd think that we'd have little to talk about beyond logistics. But, you know, she'd check in on me once in a while, and we would have these calls just out of the blue. She would offered to call me just because she knew how isolating the lockdown where I was. You know, it was for a much more extended period of time than it was in DC. And she would always check in on me, ask after my family, like never fail to do that. And over time, she shared so much about her, you know, travels and her food. And I really came to think about her as a friend. And yeah, and she'd be so encouraging. So at the time, I love food, and you know, I would just tell her that, oh, I love food, but I'm not that much, you know, great a cook. And I would tell her how like my mom was cooking these things, and she was like, oh, share the recipes. And at the time, I was illustrating some of my mom's recipes, and she was so encouraging. And yeah, anyways, I just wanted to share how kind and how big her heart was. And I could tell from every conversation that we had how much she loved her family, and how much she loved her friends. And I could tell that she had this magical circle of people that loved her and people that she loved. And she carried a piece of each of you that's, you know, here on this call, here, there in the room today. And yeah, it's yeah, you know, for having known her for not that long, and most of the conversations I had with her were remote. But I feel like she's really touched my life in a very profound way. And I feel like she'll live on inside us, you know, her good qualities. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you all.
Thank you so much for sharing that. If anyone else would like to say anything, please feel welcome to. Otherwise, we will move on with the slideshow.
Donna, I'd like to say a few words. Let me change my. Yeah, we are parents. You're supposed to protect the kids, and our relationship is very different than the relationship that you have with Mana, of course. But since you know, the past 40 days since she's gone, a lot of other things were revealed to us, and so we just started to see a different side of Mana, a beautiful side of Mana, and we got so many calls. Just an example, she was back in Iran 12 years ago, meeting up with some of the Iranian kids, going out, you know, to have fun, like a day or so. And then about like 40, 50 of them, they were talking about Mana since, you know, in the past 12 years. And they also were following her on the Instagram. And they were all sad because they thought, you know, every day they go to Instagram to see the beautiful picture that she puts out, a story, and that's how they started the day. So she was always happy. She didn't want to hear anything about the past grievances, or she had this amazing capability to remove the negatives from her mind, and she never thought about future, what's going to happen. And that's why she had no really material purpose. She lived in the moment, and she enjoyed every single moment. You know, we got calls from her. She was just, you know, screaming, "It's a beautiful day. Look at the sun. Look at how beautiful today is." It's just a lot of compliments about the nature, about she would see an animal and then she gets so excited. So really, she enjoyed life fully, in fully, and we don't know. I mean, and that's usually the case when people are like that. Maybe you don't expect them to live too long. So she enjoyed it. She enjoyed the friends a lot. She loved them all. Prepared food. One of my problems was that she would spend anything that she would make. She would spend it right away, and I didn't understand why. I mean, you have to be thinking about your future, but that's that was her personality. She liked to cook, get people connected, spread a lot of love, and the side of Mana that we just discovered actually more than before in the past 40 days. We'd like that to live on, and that's why we are planning to start a foundation, a Mona Foundation. She has a lot of recipes that has to be put down in a book. She called me like about probably a few weeks before her passing, and told me that her book is ready. And she talked to a publisher, and the publisher said that if you add a section on history, that would be a very good book to sell. And I told her all about history and how, civilization started, and she really loved it. She would call me and she would say, "Dad, just tell me about the history." So she actually asked me to add a section to her book about the history of mostly where we come from, which is probably going back to a very, very long time ago. So Hale just set up a fund for her. It's if you want to contribute, you can contribute through Zelle. It's under my phone number, and then we're gonna try to get the charity organization set up. And even, if people want to contribute for tax-free exemptions, we want to build a foundation and to get the friends together, discuss Mona, and see the path forward. Now, it's a new life for Mona. She's gone, but she's left us with so much good memories that we need to carry on those memories. There are things that she really wanted to do, and one of them was actually the cooking and the saffron culture in the U.S. She was very, very interested in that. She would actually call people back in Iran where they grow saffron growers, and he wanted to cut the middleman and bring the saffron directly so that it would cost less. She found that the middleman is actually overcharging, both exploiting the growers and also the consumers. So she wanted to change that. She had some new recipes for saffron, and that's something that it's upon us to do. She would grow saffron, and she was so excited when she saw a saffron. One of the pictures in her Instagram is a saffron flower that she grew. So now I noticed we have a lot of saffron bulbs, and I distributed them. We planted half of them on her grave, which should come out, very soon. And then it's gonna get hopefully flowers in spring. I'm sorry, it's probably next fall. In the spring, it's gonna grow, and then next fall, it's gonna have saffron. Half of them, other ones I planted in 4 planters in our backyard. We are going to protect those, make sure so they're well taken care of. But the most important thing is to get her message across. It's a message of love, connections. People don't, they're just so busy, too busy. They don't get together. They don't get together with the family, with the friends. And through this foundation, we want to concentrate on connections, building connections, love. Without love, without connections, there is no way we can build communities. And we don't build communities, I mean, the whole environment is going to get affected. And that's the problem we have right now with losing connections. People, we need love more than any other time to save the planet, to save ourselves, to save lives. And that's what we want to do in this foundation. I'm going to reach out to everyone who are interested. Some people have shown interest to actually help with writing her book, the cookbook, which would have some historical, some history in it, and also we're going to put a section, just the life of Mona, to present her life, which should really be an example. And this is an example for me. Since the past 40 days, I think Mona shook me and Hale, and has changed our lives. So we're gonna live in a different life from now on. Our life would be, like Hale says, it's gonna be before Mana and after Mana. And we are gonna dedicate our lives in spreading her message across. Thank you everyone for attending this memorial, and hope to see you more often. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have someone who'd like to say a few words as well.